Joseph Crudup here. Welcome to my show. Today is Tuesday, April the 7th, 2026. Last night, it became a dream come true when Michigan Wolverines had beaten UConn last night 69 to 63 to win their second national championship. It's been like this one. They have won their first national championship since 1989. Those were about 37 years ago. 37 years now. It all begins. It began a very beginning and the end of the 2025-26 college basketball season. And Michigan didn't last long. And although there have been ups and downs back in the early 90s, ups and downs in the early 90s, they lost their second straight national championship. This time last in 91, it was 91, 92 season, it was Duke. Then 1992, 93, it was UNC that had beaten Michigan. And then 2013, Louisville beat them. And then after all this time, I believe Michigan had many ups and downs and had never won the national championship 37 years ago until last night when Michigan had beaten UConn in a very great time. And although we have seen them getting into their skin and they very made through, they finally had made through here last night. It was a good win for them. And congratulations for the Wolverines of winning their 2026 national championship. It can become the dream come true. And as I know everything about this, I mean, look, everything's great, everything's fine, everything's great. Last night, the Mexican fans celebrating. After all these years and during about 3 decades, they have tried and tried and tried to get to the top. But then they finally did. And it was no drought. The drought was over for them. And then for this good day here right now. So, this last night, this year, Mexican Championship Parade 2026 time, and it is. But man, oh man. Now we'll go to Wahoo Sports. Around 37 years ago, the Michigan Wolverines won their first basketball championship by 1 point over the Central Hall Pirates. Finally, Dusty has laid them back to their winning ways. Last night, the Wolverines defeated Dane Holler's Yukon Huskies 69-63 in Indianapolis, and the team is arriving home today. The program just announced its championship parade schedule, along with the indoor celebration at Casino. The parade will follow the 2024 Mexican Football Championship path, and Wolverines fans have reason to celebrate yet again. Here's what to know about Mexican's celebration plans after winning its first basketball championship since 1989. Now, I had said something about this, and it was a great one. I mean, I believe Michigan has just did it one of the best. And by the time they all celebrate, we all know where's Chris Webber was here. Where's Chris Webber was there last night. Howard was there last night. And they were so happy of Michigan's victory. Michigan's victory has shot to another level. And it's just like this. It just has to be going on. It was on and on and on. And they were very happy about it. Everybody was happy about for this wonderful win. And as they do know about this, they are taking names and they are kicking their asses. It was about this Well, this has gone to be one of the best basketballs ever here. Best teams ever. No, Duke Blue Devils gone. Tar Heels gone. Huskies got beat down. It was last night. And Michigan is the only team who ever beat UConn. Well, we saw it about like less than 2 weeks ago when the Huskies the Mullins who hit his last shot over Duke. That was about 2 weeks ago. Then last night they just lost. They just lost the whole thing going on for what Asbury has just seen. All this time it was amazing. Now let's break it down to this one. That says this, and here we go. I mean, I like the Wolverines' attitude. I like their attitude. Michigan State. I mean, Michigan may have nearly lost the battle here. I'm not being stricken, but then, as we say, they have been stricken about. They have been lost. They were so close. 92, 93, they lost the national championship. Then in 2013, and then 37 years now, they just got it. They have taken their names. And what can happen for the Huskies? Well, the Connecticut Huskies right now, I mean, they just got, I mean, they were so close. Very close last night. They were down by 6. And they lost. Now, as I go for this right now, and we're going to see this now. I'm live here. I'm on live on D2. And how can this sound? How can that sound bell? Very bell like this. Now, here we go. Let's go to CNN, people. Now it says this. Michigan spent most of this season and all of the NCAA tournament absolutely powered through their opponents. But to be the man, you got to beat the man. And when it comes to April basketball, Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies have been the man for much of the last 4 seasons. UConn pushed Michigan to their limits, but in the end, the Wolverines scrapping and clawing their way to a 69-63 win in Monday's national title game, earning their first championship in men's basketball since 1989. Behind yet another standout performance from Elliot Kendall, who was named the Final Four's most outstanding player, the Wolverines reveled at UConn won in their first half that had the massive door of maize and blue fans in Indianapolis feeling nervous, winning by 4 at halftime. The Wolverines came out after the break and turned on the gas. The league got all the way up to 11 before UConn's championship pedigree started to show. The Huskies ate away at the lead, taking away bits at a time. When the clock got under a minute to go, the Wolverines lay by 8, and the UConn made it a little too interesting for Michigan's Lincoln. A couple of free throws, a steal, and a 3-pointer from Solo Ball made it a 4-point game with 37 seconds to play, and Michigan's championship party was put on hold. 2 missed free throws by Waddy Grayling Jr. give UConn a chance to make it a 1-possession game, but then Austria's successful senior Alex Calaban's 3-pointer barely grazed the front of the rim, and Trey McKinney fought for the defensive rebound. He was fouled, hit 2 free throws, and the Huskies' last ditch comeback was over. The Wolverines finished 37-3 and cut down the nets for the second national championship in program history. So now that was it, and that was it for them. Now, how did the Huskies lose? And although, I mean, the whole thing that is just about the Huskies. This is all about this one district. Now, did Connecticut come back? Well, not this time. Now on the Mexicans' watch. And although they just said, well, anyway, that's why we have to beat them. That's what happened. And for the Huskies, man, they will look like they were, man, they are so close to get Mexican, but not this time. Well, it was about on Friday for the women's basketball. That women's UConn women's basketball just lost in a blowout by South Carolina. Then about 2 days later, 2 days ago, South Carolina women's basketball just got beat down by UCLA in this triple digit. But anyway, 4 digit, I mean, whatever. I gotta look at the score was. Now, by all that, we didn't want to talk about I didn't want to talk about South Carolina's women's basketball just lost. But now let's go to UConn. Right now, I'm gonna continue to get to UConn. And right now we're gonna show you what half is. Now, UConn's defeat, and Dan Holland just says, well, anyway, you never know. You gotta get them correct. It is what it is. Now, Yahoo Sports. Now, UConn coach Dane Hollis started laughing when asked about officiating after loss to Michigan in national championship game. Now, Dan Hollis couldn't help but laugh on Monday night when he was asked about the officiating after their loss in the national championship game. Is there a foul? Holly turned to ask when the topic was brought up at Lucas Oil Stadium in Minneapolis, playing and joking around. How did the official change the game? Dean Holland says, haha, this guy. Hurley was playing in Mayday on the sidelines throughout UConn's 69-63 loss to Michigan on Monday night in the national title game, which actually marked the program's first loss in a championship game after winning the previous 6. That's been pretty normal for the Huskies head coach, however, and it's been a recurring trend throughout the NCAA tournament. Harlan went head-to-head with a referee without penalty at the tail end of their wild win over Duke in the Elite Eight, and he was booed hard by Illinois fans after their win over the Illinois in the semifinals on Saturday. Boy, Dan Hurley's he should be fined for that. Dan Hurley went face to face with the ref after UConn beat Duke, and I think Dan Hurley made contact with the ref. Shouldn't be fouled. Shouldn't be an attack goal. Doggone it, should have been a attack goal by UConn, and they almost had Duke go for the free throw line because of the attack goal. But hey, it is what it is. Now it's just say this. Now that's been pretty. I mean, damn. Dan Hurley went face to face with the ref after UConn beat Duke. Now, UConn was called for 22 fouls on Monday night compared to just 13 against Michigan. 3 key UConn players, Silas DeMary, Terrence Reed, and Solo Ball, all had 2 fouls each in their first half. DeMary ended up fouling out too. Michigan led the entire second half and held on late to grab the 6-point win behind 19 points from Elliot Kenner, who was named the Final Four's most outstanding player. Alex Cannonball led UConn with 17 points and 11 rebounds. But the Huskies went just 9 out of 33 from behind the arc as a group. They did out rebound Michigan 46-39 and had 22 offensive rebounds. But despite the 5-digit Calipari, Hurley didn't place any blame on an official. the crew that won the game, he said, was an all-star group. Now he goes on and says this. It's such a physical game. Michigan is so physical, Hurley said. I just thought, again, it's not the reason that we lost the game. So now it is what it is. And now, now, Dane Hurley may have won the battle, but he lost the war against Michigan and they given up Michigan to win the national championship. That was last night. So you know how it goes into it for when you see the game going on. You just know all the details. You know all the details that you had just seen so far and so good. As we just know how this going to come and how this going to be to it. Because I always know it is what it is. But to beat the man, you got to beat the man for real. And yes, it really has. But boy, very proud of these guys. So now, as I'm talking about here, Michigan have won their first national championship since 1989. That was 37 years ago. 37 years ago, they I just said what I just said about the Wolverines. They're good, they're strong. And since the Wolverines football team win their 2024 national championship in the football game, now we're talking about this. We're talking about all the stuff that I have seen. Chris Rebel, Howell, and Jalen Rose. The loser be the Fabulous Five, Fat Five here. They are the Fat Five here on the college basketball. They played the University of Michigan. They are the Fat Five here in the 90s. And they always like that. They are the most dominant team here in the NCAA basketball. Now it just says this, boy. I wish Chris Webber was there, but Holland was there. They want Michigan to win their first national championship. And boy, did they did it. They really, really did it for real. For sure. That's what it is. Okay, folks, that's going to wrap this thing up. Please like me on YouTube and see on YouTube. Subscribe, make a comment. I'm on live on YouTube. Maybe I'm live right now here to talk about this. And yeah, you just know that Malone, that you just heard about the UNC, that Malone is the UNC coach. Now, I should say I gotta say this, but let me just say this right now. I'm not a coach, but you just heard about just a few hours ago. Now, last time, just months ago, when I just saying this, and we're just knowing that the UNC basketball housed Michael Malone, the former coach of the Denver Nuggets, who have won their first NBA championship back in 2023 against Miami Heat. Michael Malone has been held by the UNC basketball. And with agreeing on that, we're happy to get on that. And that was a breaking news here. That was a good sign. Now, Michael Malone, we'll go to Yahoo Sports now. Michael Malone will be the next UNC men's basketball coach. UNC's board of trustees held an emergency meeting and approved the hire on Tuesday, that's today, before Malone's introduction press conference, which is scheduled for Tuesday evening at the Smith Center. Caroline is one of the most historic programs in college basketball, and I am honored to be the head coach of the Tar Heels, Malone said in a school issue statement. It is humbling to follow so many legends in Chapel Hill, enough from the Minotaur I know from the winning Tar Heels in the NBA how special the Carolina basketball family is, and I will do everything I can to continue UNC's championship legacy while preparing our players for professional careers and life after basketball. I'm offering my thanks to Colorado Roberts, Steve and Bubba, the Board of Trustees, and the Schultz community. I am proud to be a Tar Heel and can't wait to get started. Now, Malone introductory press conference is at 6 p.m. inside the Smith Center. It will be 30 minutes away. It is open to the public. Fans can enter the gate. Hey, those will open at 5 p.m. That has been open. Now, Malone, at age 54, has more than 3 decades of experience as a coach, but a quarter century of his time was spent in the NBA. He hasn't coached at the college level since 2001, when he was an assistant coach at Manhattan. And 2 week results that started after the firing of Hugo Davis on March 24 comes to a close with Malone, who will be UNC's first hire outside of the failing since Frank McGuire in 1952. Malone will coach the Tar Heels after spending 10 seasons with the Denver Nuggets. He led the Nuggets to the NBA title in 2023, but was fired in 2025 and spent the last year working as an analyst for ESPN. He's won more than 500 games as an NBA coach. Now, let this be let that be spoken. We all know that Michael Malone is in the house. It's in the UNC house now, and it will start here in November 2026. 2026-27 season. That's going to be it for now. Please like me on YouTube, make a comment, subscribe my YouTube channel on the Joseph Crudup Show. Also share our family and friends. Until next time, take care and peace out. God bless everybody. See you tomorrow.